Well, I recorded a video Wednesday before Xavier went into solitary confinement. Figured I'd give a follow up, even though I can't stay up as late as I wanted. So Xavier is in solitary now, all by himself. The question is, would it change anything for Derek X? Could he gather the votes without Xavier around? That has been the question. But first, let's talk about Alyssa because it seems as though Xavier has Alyssa doing the work for him while he's in solitary. You know, I feel like he gave her instructions to put the kibosh on any sort of flip that could happen because Alyssa has been following a lot of players around tonight. This is the most I have seen Alyssa around Tiffany in several weeks, if ever. I don't know if Alyssa's ever been this much around Tiffany, to be honest. So yeah, she's definitely trying to see what everybody is up to, kind of like a spy for Xavier in solitary. So I said on Wednesday's video that the plan that Derek X and Tiffany needed to come up with was to trick Kylan into giving the sympathy vote with there really being 3 other votes to save Derek X. And it seems like Derek X is trying to go that direction, kinda. He talked about it with Tiffany. There's still a big problem, if not a couple. But see, as it stands, it seems like Hannah's going to throw Derek X a sympathy vote to stay. And Kylan is planning on doing the same. So this makes the flip quite possible. But I don't know if there's enough communication going around to get those other 2 votes. I don't know if Tiffany's telling people she wants to keep Derek X, but I don't know if she goes through with it if she doesn't think that the votes are there, which leaves the big piece of Azah. I don't know how many times I have to say it, that Azah has played a very good social game, and the fact that she is in the middle of the house right now proves that 100%. Azah is now the swing vote if Kylan indeed goes through with the sympathy vote. But the fact it remains, too many players in this house, just like the fan base, has discounted Azah. And it has just been so dumb. And I know I've said this a lot on the last few videos, but it's just true. This is why you should not discount players in games. Keep some kind of line of communication, even if you have to fake it for a while, because now Azah is the swing vote on this fairly important vote. But because of Azah's social game, she's in the middle. She's worked herself into a spot where she's still nobody's immediate target. She's in good with Alyssa. She's in good with Claire. She's in good with Derek X. And she's in good with Sarah Beth. So none of the outsiders of the cookout winning the next HOH or the coin flip should put Azah in danger as a target. But that also makes it that her game could be in more danger if she keeps Derek X as a target. Is it playing it safe? Kinda, but it's working for Azah's game and has been for a while, even if people don't want to give her credit for her fucking great social game. And Azah does not owe Derek X shit. So it's really shouldn't be Azah. It's just not Azah's responsibility to flip this vote. Fortunately for Derek X, he just never followed his gut. He tried early on when all those alliances were being made by Tiffany that to include Azah in the alliances, but he was always shut down. He should have followed his gut to make an alliance of his own that included Azah, where he would find himself staying right now had he done that. And when you are a big target in a game like Derek X has been, you need to be a little aggressive in the alliances you make. You can't just be being dragged into alliances just to be used by Tiffany and Kylan And I just don't think he ever realized this. He's just been very gullible. I think that is a word to describe Derek X. He has been a gullible player that unfortunately never followed his gut to work harder with Azza. And now she is possibly the most important factor in deciding his fate. He's tried to get Derek F as well on board as an extra vote. Just don't think that's going to happen. I think Kylan and Xavier have got Derek F to vote out Derek X. So yeah, it really comes down to Azza. And Tiffany and Azza, they don't communicate with each other, so it's not like they can just get together and plan this out. I mean, there's still time, and I'm recording this early. I'm recording this at fucking 12 Pacific time. So anything can happen between 12 Pacific time and voting time, especially since Xavier is in solitary up until he has to vote. It is a twist that I like, but the one thing I'm going to say is that the show is also clearly trying to do a lot of over-the-top twists to save Derek X. He had the money to save himself in roulette, and he did not do it. They had the random will, and Xavier gets himself nominated, but he gets himself off. And now they have Xavier in solitary confinement as one last hope that Derek X can save himself, but I just think it's probably too late. But the fact that the show has had to do this much to try and save Derek X proves that he just did not set up his own game well over the past several weeks when he needed to do so. He's kind of flopped on, playing a winning game, to say the least. And, it helps that, Claire had a really shitty campaign. I felt like it was just really blah. She's just, I don't know. I don't know about Claire. I don't know what she brings to the table, to be quite honest. A Claire HOH or a Claire coin flip win would be interesting, though, because I do think she would target Xavier or Kylan or Derek F or all three. So it would be very interesting if Claire were to win or the HOH or the coin flip. There's speculation, and it's probable that there could win more BB bucks in the next challenge, but that was before we learned it was a memory comp, so maybe not. I still feel like there has to be a way to win more BB bucks so that whoever wins the coin flip, nobody knows. If you're trying to keep the HOH secret, that just makes sense. But this is where we are. I think it comes down to Azza, who everybody keeps discounting. I'm glad Azza called out and talking to the cameras, called out the fan base for continuing to vote her at 50. It's worked in her favor. It hasn't worked in Brittany's favor, getting 100. Hasn't worked in Derek X's favor, getting 100. So go on with your always wrong selves, fan base. Keep doing the most to fuck up your faves games. So I would say the probability right now, if I'm going to give a probability, the probability for Derek X leaving is probably at 80 to 90%, to be honest. But there's still that 10 to 20% that something could change, especially since I'm recording this early. So that leaves like a long fucking time, really. I mean, it's like 20 hours possibly for them to change the vote to get that flip. One more talk between Derek X and Azza could help. But then Azza was also upset about Fruit Loops earlier because, she had this thing where she was like practicing memory comps with Fruit Loops. She told Derek X about it. Derek X immediately grabbed Fruit Loops and started doing it on the table in front of other people. That annoyed Azza because she only told him that to use the Fruit Loops to help. So Derek X just continues to do a lot of wrong things, making it hard for him to stay. But we will see if that happens to change in time for the vote.